My name is Chief Senator Igoyota Amori, PhD.
Senator Chief Dr. Igoyota Amori, JP, fondly known as Odidi Madi, is a renowned politician, administrator, former senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and a statesman whose life reflects over 4 decades of selfless service, political stability, and visionary leadership. Born on August 8, 1952, into the Wede family of Mosoga Kingdom in the present Ethiopia West local government area of Delta State, Senator Chief Dr. Igoyota Amori has become one of Nigeria's most respected political figures, blending academic excellence with practical governance experience and unmatched grassroots influence. Senator Amori's journey began in Mosoga, where he attended Ewonobo Primary School before proceeding to Academy Grammar School, now Okotiebo Grammar School, Sapele. His brilliance and leadership potentials were evident early in his life, which was later seen in his political career. He served as class prefect in both primary and secondary schools.
I was born on August 8, 1952. By implication, I'm 73 years old today. And I went to primary school in 1963, no, 1958, and finished 1963. I didn't enter secondary school because, immediately because there were no secondary schools in our area of the state at that time, until 1967, when I went to secondary school in Sapele, Academy Grammar School, now Okotiebo Grammar School, Sapele, from 1967 to 1971. After the secondary school, I worked briefly in Jungle Ventures in Sapele before I entered the University of Benin, 1974. I would say that my entry university in 1974, after finishing secondary school in 1971, well, because at that time, in our time, there were no universities in the whole of the Midwest region. There were 5 universities in Nigeria then: University of Nigeria, University of Lagos, University of Ibadan, Mount University, and University of Ife. So in our own region of the country, then Midwest region, there were no universities. And this is entry university by entrance examination and also by writing letter for admission. We wrote letters. I remember very well. I wrote admission to the University of Ife and Mount University. The reply to my application came after the schools, after the 2 universities have resumed. But fortunately, by 1972-73, there was University of Benin. So we didn't need to write long letters. We can transport ourselves straight to university. Yeah, I wrote a trust of admission in 1973. And by January 1974, I was admitted to the University of Benin, where I graduated in 1979. But there's also, I had a delay of 1 year in graduation because I was also a student union activist. By 1976, I was a member of the Students' Union Executive, myself, Olori Magede, General Vaje, Napoleon Ogbon. Some of us were members of the Students' Union Executive. And of course, we find ourselves in student riot in 1976. I was also Assistant Secretary of the National Union of Nigeria Student Nuns then in 1976, while Olori Magede was the Vice President of Nuns, who was also the President of the Students' Union of the University of Benin, and I was the Secretary of the Students' Union a set of assistant secretary of students, Professor Binia, later secretary of students, Great General of Ajay, was the President General of Ajay, was the secretary of students, But by the time the riot took place in 1976, those of us who were all members of the students, even though we were not around when the riot took place, we were all rusticated for 1 year. And we went to court, we won the case. The late Khalifa was our lawyer in 1976. But by the time the case ended in 1976, we had lost 8 months, 8 to 9 months. So we went back to the university, victorious, but my application we have lost 1 year. So I was supposed to graduate in 1978, now graduated in 1979.
He earned a bachelor's degree in geology from the University of Benin in 1979, a master's degree in geophysics from the University of Ibadan in 1981, and later a PhD in environmental geology from the University of Benin, combining science and strategy in ways that have shaped his practical approach to leadership and administration. Having acquired his master's degree in geophysics in 1981, he got his first employment into Kanak Nigeria Limited in Port Harcourt. He worked in various capacities in different parts of the country until 1984, when he was recruited by Polosa Nigeria Limited, a drilling company, and then posted to Benin City as the manager of the Benin branch. This he did until 1986, when he branched off to establish his own company, Amodrill Nigeria Limited. Senator Chief Dr. Igor Yota Amori's political story is inseparable from Delta State's democratic history. The establishment of his own company, Amodrill, gave him an opportunity to attract a water project to his hometown, Ugbokba village in Mosoga. During the time of DFRI, Directorate of Food and Rural Road Infrastructure, which was commissioned in 1986 by the then acting military administrator of Bendel State, Captain Salahuddin Akau.
By 1981, I had finished my master's degree in geophysics at the University of Ibadan. And by 1982, I had my first employment with Kanak Nigeria Limited in Port Harcourt. I worked in that company in different parts of the country until 1984, when I was recruited by the then Polosa Nigeria Limited, where we were working in Abuja, and I was posted to Benin to resume as a manager of the company in 1984. I worked there. It was a drilling company. I worked there from 84 to 1986, towards the end of 86. And of course, I branched off to establish my own company called Amodrill Nigeria Limited. And from there on, it gave me an opportunity during the time of DFRI. It gave me an opportunity to bring the water project to my village through DFRI, which my village saw as something, and that was during the military, something that they have never seen before. In the life of Mosoga, nobody had brought government projects to Mosoga. And when they saw that they have a son who was able to apply government project, particularly water project, which was commissioned by the then military governor of Midwest State, of Bendel State. And of course, that pushed me into real politics. And by 1987, although the process started in 1987, when it was time for councillorship election, my people beckoned on me to contest. I really never wanted to contest because I believed that I was doing well in my work, in my drilling outfit. And they said I should come and contest to the president. And I contested the election in 1987, and I won as a councillor. So being the first councillor to emerge from Mosoga. And by between 87 and 89, I represented very well. I became supervisory councillor for education, and I did a lot of good things. when the government was overthrown, by the time politics picked up, of course, I became their icon, and they all stood by me and said, well, I must start to represent them. So since that time, since 1989, after my councillorship tenure in the then Etiop local government of the then Benue State, I have stood for my people, I have worked for my people, politically and otherwise, and today I believe that has given me the level I am today in life.
This singular act was greatly appreciated by the people of Mosoga, and he was urged to contest as a councillor in 1987 when the military gave way to civilian administration. Even though he didn't want to go into politics as he was doing very well in his craft, but for the insistence of his people, he went into the councillorship race as their representative. After his victory at the polls as a councillor, he brought another water project to his community, this time to Mosoga town. The project was commissioned in 1988 by the then military administrator, Colonel Jonathan Tunde Ogbeha. Both water projects are still functioning and in use. He was the first senior political advisor in Delta State when he served as senior political advisor to Governor James Ibori from 2004 to 2006. He was appointed by the governor to stabilize the political tension at that time as a result of the governor's push for resource control from the federal government of President Olusegun Obasanjo. After his success in accomplishing his assignment, Amori was appointed by the governor as Commissioner for Water Resources Development from 2006 to 2007, which resonates with his educational expertise and profession. His deep understanding of governance and party structure made him indispensable across successive administrations. Between 2011 and 2014, Senator Chief Dr. Igo Yota Amori was appointed senior political advisor to Governor Emmanuel Udwaha, where he coordinated policy communications and political stability initiatives across Delta State.
From 1989, when there was overthrow of government, our councillorship ended. But by 1991, of course, there was room for further political activities in Nigeria, and that was when the Delta State was created. That was created in 1991, and we went into forming different political parties. There was room for political parties, and there was the then NRC and the then SDP, two parties created by, I think, Babangida. NRC and the SDP. I belong to the then NRC, and I was the secretary of the NRC, National Republican Convention in Etiop local government. When I talk of Etiop local government in Benue, that was under Benue State. Etiop local government, the president, Etiop East and Etiop West. There I also served as a councillor, and I became the secretary. We continued our politicking until we actually contested for governorship using then Eric Opia. I think Eric Opia was our candidate, while the late Felix Ibu was the candidate of the SDP, Social Democratic Party. And of course, the SDP won the state, but the NRC won the entire rural land. And because we campaigned for the NRC, won the entire rural land. And at the end of it all, well, that government did not also last. For 2 years or so, the government was again overthrown. And it took another time again before political parties were allowed to emerge again. And we then belonged to first to the GDM. So the GDM, that was, yeah, other version, the GDM. There were 5 political parties then, NCP, NCPC, the DPN, I think NS something then, but our own party was the GDM, where we had our brother, Chief Justice Emmanuel Bori, as the governorship candidate with who contested also with other notable deltas for the governorship position. But that too was not allowed to last. The election never took place, the governorship election never took place. Of course, the parties were dissolved again. And then whoever that took over again, then there was a new dispensation of politics. And then eventually, we formed the People's Democratic Party, the PDP. And that was in 1999. And we fielded James Emmanuel Bori again as our candidate for the PDP. And by 1999, we contested for governorship. We won, and won handsomely. Today, that government that won the election in 1999 under the PDP has remained in charge of Delta State from 1999 till April 28, when the entire government and government of Delta State moved from the PDP to the APC, headed by Right Honorable Sheriff as the executive governor of Delta State. So it has been very rewarding. And along the line, from 1999, God has been also rewarding, because when we won in 1999, Chief James Bori appointed 10 of us who were his strong men as commissioners. And I became commissioner for education. James Manager became commissioner for works. Okwa became commissioner for agric. Ilweme became commissioner for commerce and industry. Dr. Ide was commissioner. Dr. Brown became commissioner for health. Kofi became commissioner for special duties. Became commissioner for special duty. Then I think Adora was also a commissioner. Judith Damoto was commissioner for information. Later, there was also a commissioner. So some of us became, Peter Wabushi was also a commissioner. But we started with 10 commissioners, 10 super commissioners, and eventually moved to 12 commissioners. So we had various positions. But good thing that all of us who were the foundation members of the PDP and not became commissioner, God has also elevated us to different positions in the state today.